An Israeli company called Space IL just became the first private company to launch a mission to the moon. Hitching a ride on SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket.
47 seconds into flight, everything is looking nominal.
Israel is now the fourth country, after the US, Russia, and China, to launch a robotic lander to the surface of the moon.
This isn't just any SpaceX launch. This one is different, and it represents a new phase in spaceflight.
Let's see if I can't crack the corner and get that contact.
The last manned mission to the moon happened in 1972. No human has been back since, only unmanned payloads. But why?
It fell out of favor because we were trying to get the space shuttle program off the ground. We were trying to build the space station. We were trying to do all these other things to survive long-term in space. And so now we're starting to finally look back at the moon.
Today, the Google Lunar X Prize ignites our imagination.
This whole mission owes its existence to the Google Lunar X Prize. This is a competition that started in September 2007. The prize, $20 million to the first private entity that could land a spacecraft on the moon and move 500 meters.
The deadline to win the $20 million passed in 2018, but the competition continues, only without a cash prize for the winner. Space IL built a 1,300-pound robotic spacecraft called Bereshit, which is Hebrew for "in the beginning." The craft is equipped with cameras, magnetic sensors, and transmitters that, after landing on the lunar surface, will collect and send data back to Earth.
The challenge was, could Israel innovate and actually achieve this objective with a smaller budget and without a big space industry backing it?
The rocket launched from Pad 40 at SpaceX's facility at the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. A place that's been making space history for over 50 years.
Cape Canaveral in Florida is this cradle of spaceflight history. You've got the birth of the Mercury, the Gemini, the Apollo programs, the missions that went to the moon, the space shuttle program. And SpaceX and others are now leasing and taking over and retrofitting these launch pads for the next wave of the space race.
This is really the nucleus of our nation's space program, and it's also the cauldron of international collaboration.
Scott Parazynski is a veteran of 5 shuttle missions and a member of the Astronaut Hall of Fame.
Israel is such an incredible technological powerhouse. And so I think it's extraordinary that now non-spacefaring nations, in other words, those that don't have the capacity to necessarily launch their own astronauts, are now able to launch major payloads like this. Perhaps not the too distant future, they'll be able to also launch their own astronauts independently.
Space IL spacecraft separation confirmed.
After being deployed from SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, it's going to take 2.5 months for Space IL's lander to actually get to the moon. A successful landing could be our next small step towards a manned mission to Mars.
I think it's an imperative that we send crews to the moon to actually set up a real habitat akin to the South Pole Station in Antarctica. I think we should send international crews to work, to explore, to learn to live off of the land, and in so doing we develop the technologies that would allow us to actually colonize Mars.
The Space IL mission is just the beginning. We might look back at this as an inflection point as to where all of this started, all of this being the permanent settlement of the moon and perhaps even Mars.